Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Match 8 of the Round of 32 of the Highway to the Zemus Zone 2019. We have a match today between peteza34, gamingwithawraith, peasantsomfg, and zilch6. And I'm here with restreamer ScalaKitty, co-commentator It's Paranoia, and tracker Tower Sheep. Paranoia, how do we feel about the flags tonight?
The flags tonight are pretty interesting. We do have the Forged Crystal variant on, which means I have to find both the Adamant and the Legend Sword to get that crystal in order to enter Go mode. I mean, along with some way of accessing Zemus and the Underground, and also accessing Zemus. We don't have Adamants. They don't show up at all, so anything that would give us an Adamant is getting replaced with something else, most notably the Pinktail. And one more thing, we have C and X on for characters. So characters are not guaranteed that we don't have easy access to Edge or Fusoya. So we may see like 6 copies of Yang.
Now we
or
see
6
with
copies of Forum.
Yeah, we got an interesting starting character here. We're going to have to see the second character to see how slow the early game is going to be for our runners here. But I did want to mention before we get started that gamingwithawraith and zilch are both coming into this match having already completed one match. Gamingwithawraith already is coming in with 1 point, and zilch is coming in with 4 points. So the other two racers haven't had any yet, so this is their chance to shine.
All right. And I think we're going to be getting started real soon here. Yep, they're off. Now, what do you want to see as our first item and like our first character?
I always like to see a seed where a progression item is right away, so that, or a go mode item is right away, just so that we kind of get the excitement level up. And instead, we get the package. Ooh, that's a... with this party, though, there may be some value there because this is not a strong...
And since that is a key item, that means that package could lead to an Edge or a Fusoya.
Yeah, the good thing about a double twin start is that it does give you access to the twin command, which can be used to cheese a lot of overworld bosses, especially like the first few that our runners would normally check.
Everyone raiding Baron first. Not a bad start, actually. Get you... Oh, hello there, Payman, talking with some dolls. I feel like we have found Lord Helmet.
And not bad at all. A lot of players like to check Baron for the treasure just because it's quick, and the other players are going to check it. So if there's a good item there, you risk them getting something that you're not going to have.
Yep, and we do have people checking the water, Zilch and Peasants both. Gamingwithawraith and Pizza going back in for the Baron item shop check. I don't think there's much value here. So they're just going to clean out their inventory of stuff they don't want, and they're out of here.
Yeah, so shops in this flag set are on S2, which is basically kind of like the default items, except they're in different shops. So our players are still going to need certain necessities from the shops, such as life potions, maybe cure potions, and cabins, but they'll also be looking for the Japanese exclusive items which exist in this flag set. Things like hourglasses, sirens. Yes, like star veils. There we go.
Star veils. Silk webs. Illusions. They're also going to be probably wanting to find Bacchus wines at some point, and those can only be underground. Coffins, sirens, and like only one tier of hourglasses guaranteed on the overworld, but coffins and sirens are not guaranteed on the overworld. I don't think illusions are either.
Yeah, those sirens will enable some easier grinding opportunities, or I should say more efficient grinding opportunities. But these players are good. They wouldn't have made it through the qualifiers if they weren't. So even if they don't find sirens, they're going to be able to get the levels they need.
Also, it looks like our package carrier was another paladin. If you wanted more children. It looks like Gaming with a Wraith does.
Yeah, multiple twins is not a bad option for the overworld because you can use the twin command with any set of twins that has, you know, their turn come up. You could really spam.
Yep. And he's going to say hello to the Black Mage here. Going to get hit with a Titan summon. And we have a Rosa. We have a Rosa saying, but she's fighting a Golbez. And I don't think we have Star Veils yet.
Yeah, so there are two boss battles in this game, Wyvern and Golbez, where the Starveil item is extremely important to have. It lets you cast Reflect on your party members, and those two bosses only use magic attacks, so you can kind of either survive Wyvern's initial Mega Nuke spell, or you can straight up make Golbez free if you have Starveils. Otherwise, he's a pretty challenging and time-consuming boss.
Because, yeah, you have to sit through a cutscene, he has to pull out a dragon who's going to eat someone, and then you have to, like, hopefully get a Starveil off before he starts the, you know, the magical roulette that probably barbecues your face. Also, I will not hear complaints about 5 Forum seeds. Those are good. Eventually, you get white on everyone, and they just, like, start nuking the entire seed on their own, except for Pale Dim.
It looks like while all of our other runners are still treasure hunting, and actually Peasants is gonna try to get that Rosa. Oh, nope, there's the reset. Pizza's about to show us what boss and what key item potentially we have in Antlion Cave. This is a really popular first step for runners just because there's a lot of treasure chests here to can power up your party with that equipment, and the boss is pretty low HP.
And it's elements. Now, oh yeah, Octomam. Octomam is everyone's favorite boss, by which I mean, yeah, cast slow on them twice, or just throw a Silk Web, and pop them until they have like one limb left and they like don't move anymore. It's great.
I also lose speed when my limbs are knocked off.
Oh, and that's a Stardust Rod. Not a key item, but hey, pretty good when your primary attack is entirely based on your wisdom.
Yeah, it's pretty much the best Black Mage weapon, so very nice to find. Gonna give a lot of boost, especially because at least until we find a physical attacker, we're gonna be banking on Palin's Black Magic pretty heavily.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Invulnerable. Seeing that Stardust Rod pop out of a location like that, I would not hate it, and I doubt any of our runners would hate it either.
Yeah, I mean, especially since you know your opponents are going to check Antlion. There's hardly anyone who's going to skip it, so at least if you had to waste time getting the Stardust Rod, you know everybody else is going to waste that same time.
Right, it's like you're walking it out of a sealed cave.
Yeah, some racers put it off until they have a source of exit, but I don't think anyone will be waiting at this point with what we've seen so far.
So, from what I've seen so far, it looks like we're either getting a, or either going up ordeals, or we're getting a Demus hunt.
Yeah, so a reminder to everyone, if you haven't been watching these tournament matches, what our players are mostly looking for right now is underground access, which is required in this seed set so that you can forge your crystal. So that means they need either the magma key or the hook. You can see just how long this takes to get this character from the package, so Wraith is kind of banking on this being a payoff.
And if it's like Demus, it could very well be a payoff. And it's Asura. Which is, I mean, this is a great place for Asura. She can stay here. It's just probably not quite. It's probably just not quite the boss he was looking for. I think that was a Magma key.
Yeah, you know, my stream hiccuped. I didn't quite see it, but we'll see if Tower caught it.
And indeed, looks like it was a Magma key. So Fabul has our underground access today.
That's very nice to see. Now, admittedly, none of our runners have found sirens yet, which would be really great to have the moment you get underground to get a little boost to maybe challenge some of the bosses down there pretty early. But this is nice because it means they don't have to go through Upper Babel, which has a pretty scary boss spot and also takes more time. So all of our runners are going to be happy to see that Magma Key at Fabul, especially behind the pretty much free boss, Water Hag.
And now, I mean, on one hand, they'll be happy, but we don't get the joy of Rubicanti Kenazo blocking a bunch of majors from the underworld.
Yeah, and you know, don't get us wrong, that doesn't mean the hook is now useless. You still need the hook to turn in the rat tail and pink tail, and you need it to check the character in Eblon Cave, which with this party, it would be nice to pick up at least one physical attacker. So it's not like hook wouldn't be value if we found it.
Also, I missed it earlier, but it looks like we have another twin sleeping in Kaipo.
Never have you seen, what, they're 5 years old, right? That's a lot of 5-year-olds just all by themselves in the lonely world.
Setting things on fire, as you do. Looks like Pizza is looking for, is checking for demist.
It can pay off. I mean, these two optional boss checks in Mist Dragon Cave and in the Waterway they don't take that much time, and you can just boom reset if you don't see what you want. It also gives you extended knowledge because now Pizza knows Bahamut's not hiding somewhere else.
Right, and you know, you actually do not mind seeing Bahamut hiding somewhere else. Bahamut is generally a pretty simple fight.
And that's the thing with the randomizers. Even if a check doesn't pay off, it can give you knowledge that the other runners do not have. So you'll be a little bit more prepared for future encounters.
And it looks like at Waterfall Cave we had Dark Elf. Which again, these are both bosses you don't generally want to see off the board real early, because you can cheese the second half of the Dark Elf fight, and well, Bahamut, as I said, is a pretty simple, pretty straightforward and easy boss to take down.
Zilch now with the Magma Key in hand as well. We'll see if he tries to make a beeline for the underground or tries to maybe clean up the overworld a bit like Pizza is.
It looks like Pizza to me is going to take on Yonder Doll. No? I guess he was just saving outside Baron. Popping the top on that mountain.
Peasant's doing the deep shop search here, going to Silvera to check the 3 treasure chests hidden here and the item shop, I'm assuming.
I mean, not a bad idea. I generally like to check these, and their sirens is a good reason why you want to check everything you can before you go underground.
Yeah, and that's a nice catch too, because no one else has acquired those sirens, meaning peasants, once attaining underground access, can do the egg fight, which can give a big boost and maybe less struggling with some of the early underground spots.
And it looks like Golbez is just on a mountain climbing expedition. It's fine. It looks like Pizza is about to head underground, though.
Yeah, so we'll get our first glimpses down here. Now, Pizza does not have sirens, so we won't see any grinding action yet, but we will see the free item checks most certainly in Land of Summon Monsters and in Zilch Cave.
It looks like we're going to be getting, well, we're going to want those store ragers just in case K-Nonso shows up. You always want insurance against turtles.
Yeah, the Thor rages. You never know how bad you need them until you do.
And then you start buying them, no matter what. You may go, Thor ragers, those don't do any damage. You'd be right, but that's not why you buy them. Pizza getting trolled by a frog.
Not quite up there at the level of Kaipo's old woman or the lady at Troya's entrance, but still, frog block.
Pizza picking up sirens and illusions and is probably now going to head underground. I would wager.
Yeah, I mean, once you have underground access and sirens, it's a tough sell to remain checking above ground. Because even if you have to come back and check ordeals later, you can do it much faster once your party has gotten some levels from the underground.
Looks like Pizza is going to be hunting for something else from shops, though. Actually, I don't think we saw Coffin, so he might want one or two of those before he does eggs. Has found Bacchus wines.
Yeah, because the problem with the egg fight is if you can't one-shot them, they do counterattack after they hatch, so you have to be a little careful. We do see peasants going to break some eggs.
Looks like Gaming of the Wraith checked back of Hobbs for treasures and is now exiting.
Yeah, Invenerable in chat pointing out, in case it's not clear, yellow dragons use lightning element, so ouch. Well, and there's Quake on Peasants, so that's what he was looking for. Get that nice Quake to kind of trivialize some more boss spots. Oh, and is going straight to the Baron Inn. Interesting play.
Baron Inn could be real good. Could be real bad. It all depends on that second boss.
And of course, getting Dark Knight Cecil is pretty much going to assure we're going to see someone go up ordeals, because the allure of fully powered Paladin Cecil is hard to avoid.
I mean, a fully powered Paladin Cecil with a good sword or weapon can just shred the seed. And that is a free boss.
This is an excellent play for Peasants then. Gonna get a check that no one else has done yet, plus get access to Cecil.
Current world record is a hard thing to quantify in a randomizer.
Pizza about to show us what the free item in Land of Summon Monsters is.
It's a van! He's probably going to go bonk Yane and head right back up.
A free half of Go mode. That is nice. Unfortunately, it means Pizza's not going to get too big of an advantage on that because we can predict most of our runners are going to go there, if not first thing, very quickly once they're underground. Peasant's grabbing the pan from Baron Inn as well, so going to be able to get underground and not have to double dip Sylph Cave.
And it looks like Zilch is rain tomorrow first. And that was a pale dim in one of the boss spots down here.
That's a big nope.
Rope. Not the nope rope, though.
Zilch went to Tamra Armory, but I did not see the employment dwarf's occupation tonight.
That's the tower key from the Sylphs. Peasants is going immediately to turn in that pan.
And this is going to be interesting because Peasants is going to get both the Sheila items, whereas Pizza's only going to get the first item from Sheila. So depending on which one has more importance is going to determine whether Peasants play pays off the maximum.
Well, we can watch with bated breath. If this is the adamant and some sort of moon access, we know this is a very jetty seed.
Yeah, that's another thing to mention here is that there are 7 key item checks on the moon, but there's no guarantee you actually have to go there.
There's the adamant. That's the adamant. That's the adamant. That's the adamant.
Well, this is an extremely early go mode with the Earth Crystal to boot, so that's 2 potential character checks as well.
That's not actually, that's not exactly go mode. We need one more thing.
Yeah, they do need access either to the moon or to get the pass to go straight to Zemus, which I was about to say, but then we had surprise go mode, so. So now the question is where to check. Do you check tower? Do you check underground? Looks like Peasants may be going to at least try to get the 2 characters from Tower of Zot. I can't say this is a bad play. You never know who will be there. It could be the other night it was double foo, even though nobody got them. So, ooh.
Yeah, my experience with this flag set recently has suggested that more often than not that the top of Tower of Babel, or Tower of Babel, Lower Babel, has the Darkness Crystal. Also, I'm just half a witch right now. I called that we're going to find probably the admit there. I did not call that we got a... I also called for getting some sort of moon access. I was wrong.
Now, what's going to be interesting is how much of the underground are players who did not do Baron and check before they realize that they got to go back there, since that is the chain that's going to lead to the adamant.
We have Baigen in the first spot up on tower. The other thing is how long is it going to take Peasants to check for that Legend Sword?
Well, I think Fame March is not something players are going to pass up in general. Number 1, because the free chest, and number 2, because there are also 2 other checks there in the form of the bosses, which right now Peasants doesn't know how hard one of them is. So I think he'll go there pretty shortly once he's done the tower. Maybe with a side trip to Ordeals to power up his Cecil.
I think I'd be very shocked if I did not see everyone picking up a Cecil this seed. Also,
yeah,
I'm going to note Peasant's strategy here of popping illusions for Baigen is never a bad one. Illusions are lifesavers. Always buy them if you can.
Yeah, Baigen can hit surprisingly hard, but illusions, one of those Japanese-specific items, are very powerful. And wall doesn't work against Quake, so we see the early grind just to get that spell paying off here. Meanwhile, Zilch is going the back way to Dwarf Castle, got the heal up and is coming out the bottom to do some item checks and maybe even check for the bosses and characters here. We shall see.
Well, Porum is dead, but, you know, long live Porum. We're through Baigen. And we're about to see what characters are back here.
Pizza, meanwhile, going straight to Soap Cave with that pan before Sheila, so can go and get both items at once this way.
About to get his tower key. And we have another Rosa. So Peasants is probably never going to go fight Golbez on Hobbs for a Rosa when we have one right here.
Now, seeing how our party are set up right now and knowing that go mode is going to be here pretty early, as long as they find, of course, some sort of access to the final boss. Do you want to explain probably the strategies for Zemus we're about to see?
Oh, I have no idea what we're going to see tonight. What do you... Though normally, what I'd like to see, we're probably, with this many mages, we're probably going to be seeing them grinding up to, like, some big ticket spells so they can go for reflex strats and the refill skip. My problem there is, Zemus is very fast. Like, super, super fast.
Yeah, so the big problem here is reflex strats can be achieved at a very wide range of levels. I mean, most runners are going to try to get their party up to achieve the nuke and white spells, but besides that, you have to decide how comfortable you are at low HP totals doing the fight, because if you're good at nerfing big bangs, then you don't need as much HP. But if you're bad at nerfing big bangs, you risk a high roll taking out your entire party if you kind of try to get there fast rather than gaining the levels you need. A lot of times on this seed set, parties will already be at the level they need because they fought so many bosses, but tonight I think they're going to have to determine a risk versus reward on how long they grind.
Peasants is finishing off Dr. Lugay. He's going to pick up his key item from Earth Crystal. And I mean, and with like a Rosa, a Porum, and like 2 Palums reflecting nukes and white spells and holy white spells, Zemus will die really fast. Like, super fast. That's a Baron key. And you have to feel from peasants or actually Pizza's point of view, every second that they do not get moon access, especially peasants, as soon as if he goes down to Feymarch and picks up that legend sword, every second they do not get moon access, you won't have to wonder if you're starting to feel a little bit behind.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because although we have players who achieved underground access earlier and have gotten the items they need earlier, until moon access is found, all bets are off. The lead can dissolve into nothingness.
Zilch is taking out the bosses in Dwarf Castle and is rewarded with a Leviathan summon. Womp womp.
No Rydia in sight. That's going to be a nice chunk of change if he needs to buy anything from shop still. Now, meanwhile, Wraith is actually trying that Pale Dim at Ashura spots.
And like those illusions are getting him through it.
Yeah, Pale Dim, as long as you're careful about what you use on him, only does physical attacks. So if you do enough illusions and keep them up, then you're safe.
And what you want to use on Pale Dim, since he absorbs Holy and the 3 big elements, you want to use non-elemental damage on him. So like Quake, Nuke, Virus. Any of the big ticket non-elemental damage dealing spells work wonders on him. And I mean, you can slap him, but he'll just like use a slow counter and it takes more time.
Yeah, he's not the meanest moon boss to see here. And by the way, we did have a question in chat if this is go mode. Not quite. They can complete their crystal if they want to, but they still need a way to access the final boss in order to truly be in go mode.
It looks like Zilch is about to pick up his pan as well. And
Peasants is in lane to summon monsters, but I didn't see, did he not check the chest on the way down? Is he going to check it on the way out, maybe?
did he forget to check the chest? Okay, so Peasants has the Legend Sword. He may just go forward to Crystal now so he doesn't forget later.
Oh yeah, if you play this flag set enough, you will eventually forget to forge the crystal at one point and go to Zemus and realize you don't have it in your inventory. And it is, it's tragic, really.
It's that moment like, wait, where's the crystal? I have the thing, I have this sword, and I have the atom, and I go, oh, right.
Well, there's a bonus to doing it now as well, because the crystal does count as another key item, even though you pretty much get it for free once you have the other two. And when you get 10 key items, you do get double experience from all battles. So it's going to be nice.
And those are Dragoon helms and ribbons from Coco's shop, which are both really good things to have.
Yeah, ribbons are pretty much the best headgear in the game. It's very nice.
Looks like gamingwithawraith has picked up the Darkness Crystal from Pale Dim. That is our last piece of go mode right there. As soon as someone takes out Pale Dim, we should...
This is very interesting because we had somebody already nope out of Pale Dim, and unless they find the path somewhere else, that's gonna hurt.
So we have multiple people with like all the pieces, with like 2/3, 3/4 of the puzzle here, but no one has all 4 pieces they need.
Yeah, an accident in chat mentioning a very good point that with moon access comes risk, because there are 7 key item checks on the moon, so statistically it's very likely to have an item you need. Now, we as the viewers and commentators know you don't need to go to the moon at all in this seed. So if Wraith goes up there to check those spots, which would not be a bad play, that's going to be a lot of wasted time.
And it looks like Peasants is going up a tower, which we know does not have what he's looking for.
There could be a pass, though, maybe. At this point, pass would be the better item for our runners to find, because they won't get moon baited and they can just grind and go straight to the battle.
I feel like Peasants is going to want to get himself a paladin before too much longer, though.
Yeah, the problem is Dark Knight Cecil's levels do not carry over to Paladin Cecil, so if you grind now, you're just kind of wasting experience on a character that's never going to be good, and also is going to get reset if you turn him into the good version. But then again, if Peasants is looking to use reflect strats anyways, he may decide it's not worth the time to get a good Cecil if he's not going to do anything in the final battle.
That is a good point.
Because actually, a berserk physical attacker, when you're doing reflect strats, is a liability because you may accidentally hit the HP refill and have to do the second half of the Zemus fight, which usually you get to skip.
Make it so they need to have all the key items. Every key item. Make every seed a 17 out of 17 seed.
Everyone lives a good 17 out of 17. Can we get some 17 out of 17s in chat? Because I don't think we're going to get it on screen tonight.
We have found the D-Lunars. I repeat, D-Lunars spotted. Can you tell us more about this boss?
So this is an interesting boss. You really have to pay attention here because if you accidentally use physical attacks on D-Lunars, they reflect themselves and start bouncing very damaging viruses onto your party. They also counterattack with flames. So you'll see they can't really... We're going to be seeing Quake, basically, or healing magic used on them. But Dark Knight Cecil's just going to be tossing items, because if you use them at all, you're just going to start them on the road to destroying you. And if you let this battle wait too long, they'll also cast Breath, which deals status ailments, including Frog, to yourself. Now, some savvy players have figured out ways to reflect that back onto the D-Lunars and turn them into frogs, which we call the Lunar Frog strats. It's pretty swag. We'll see if anyone does it.
And yep, Zilch did do the reflex strats, which are so much fun.
Yeah, and now they are basically useless. They can't do anything, their AI doesn't work, and you just plink them to death.
I mean, it's more fun when you happen to have, like, physical attackers, at which point they just shred them.
Pizza is actually checking Baron Castle now with that Baron key. We'll see. A pass would be very nice for Pizza at this point. Plus another character check available here.
Peasant's picking up that hook. I don't think gamingwithawraith ever picked up that pan, so he's not going to get rewarded with go mode when he gets done down here, but we don't know who's on first.
The real question is, what's on second? And we don't have a rat tail yet, so the hook is not as valuable as it would be otherwise.
Chad is having them out, is enjoying themselves. It looks like gamingwithawraith is going up ordeals.
Okay, gonna power up that Cecil and maybe show us if there is a pass up here or not. The problem would be if Wraith gets a key item that's another rabbit hole, since we know any rabbit holes right now are going to be time lost, basically.
That's pass. Peasant is in go mode.
Oh, from the cannon room, so let's go, Peasants. It's gonna go, you see, going straight to the grind to get ready. Not even gonna bother turning that Cecil into a paladin. In fact, we may see the Cecil be deliberately killed to do some agility anchoring match.
We also have Zilch about to pick up their pass and enter go mode. So I would like to point out something. From getting that pan, you bonk yay to get the tower key, to turn in the tower key to get the pass. You turn in the pan to get that adamant, and you go down to the Fey March to pick up that legend sword. That is, that pan almost single-handedly gives you go mode.
Yeah, I mean, the only way this could have been faster is if we'd started with one of the go mode items. Scala Kitty, very proud of herself for rolling the seed for Sheila %. I like it.
So we know Gaming with Awraith and Pizza are both on Wild Goose Chases. Nothing they're going to get from Baron, nothing they would get from Ordeals is going to get them go mode.
Yeah, literally the entire moon is a waste of time, and all other locations that we haven't seen yet are a waste of time. I'm just glad no one took the moon bait yet, because that's hard to see, fighting a whole bunch of really hard bosses up there for nothing.
Would you like to full clear of the moon for no benefit? Why, yes. All the time.
Rest in peace, the dream. No value at Cave Bahamut tonight.
This is not a troll seed. This is a jet seed.
Yeah, I mean, we would expect with this flag set, having viewed all the qualifiers in a lot of the matches, around an hour 15 is more of a normal time. And this, I believe, as long as our runners get their grinds out of the way quickly and have good Z fights, we may see sub-hour times on this. Wraith finding that D-miss, but it's just going to be another troll. So like we said earlier, our players right now are going to be using reflex strats with this party, and what Peasants is waiting for is to get Nuke and White, which are the most efficient damage-dealing spells in the game, and also getting good HP levels, enough to survive at minimum nerfed Big Bangs. Some players are also going to want the extra safety to be able to survive an unnerfed Big Bang in case their timing is off, which the timing is pretty tight, so it's not out of the question for someone to miss it, even among players this good.
The thing is, without those 10 key items, this is going to take a moment. Wait, actually, I think they have 10 key items. Yeah, they do.
Now, this seems like a good time to remind that Peasants has not actually played any matches yet, so if Peasants were to get a first place finish in this, getting 4 points, that puts him in a very good position for his remaining 3 matches in the round of 32. Our players are not only looking to get into the next segment, they want to be as high of a position as possible, because the top 4 players in points will get to choose their opponents in the next round. So it's really important to get up there if you have. So Peasants can start off on a really good foot here. And Zilch also being in go mode. Zilch has played a match already and received 4 points in that match. So if Zilch can get a first or second place finish here, putting him at 8 points or 7 points, he's going to be out in the leading of the pack of people who have played 2 matches. In fact, looking at the current rankings of people who have played 2 matches, a third place finish from Zilch will tie him for first, and a first place finish will put him straight up in the lead. Peasants is not grinding super high, gonna try to kind of compact the advantage here and go straight.
I think he's actually out of sirens. I think he went to go buy more.
Oh, ouch! This could give Zilch a little bit of a boost. Zilch also using that golden apple that he got way back near the beginning of the game, finally decided on the target there.
Gaming with Awraith about to pick up their pan and find that admit and their go mode. And since they have since their go mode is coming with Darkness Crystal, we're probably going to see them grinding on gold dragons up on the moon.
Yeah, as long as you can kill them quickly, they're a little bit more efficient than the eggs because they give ridiculous amounts more experience, basically double. And we are getting word from Tower and Skullakitty that the Baron item was, in fact, the Twin Harp. So we may still see music tonight yet. We know that's a fan favorite.
Now, let's see how Zilch is just leaving Cecil dead in the middle. That's not a bad idea. And Pizza has a old man to take the fall for him.
Pain Man is taking a dirt nap.
Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, though, I'm not sure how useful having that super slow character is in the middle for when your primary damage is mages, considering Zemus is super fast, and by default the cast time of mages means you don't have a whole lot of actions clogging the queue for him.
Yeah, the ATB system in this game is kind of funky, but suffice to say, the character in the middle determines the speeds of everyone else. So ideally, you want a very slow character in the middle, while you have very fast characters in the rest of the party. And unfortunately, the casters in this game have pretty slow speeds compared to the melee characters. So agility anchoring doesn't give you quite as much of an advantage as when you're using physical attackers, both because your characters are slower to begin with, and because you don't have the berserk stat. It's kind of cheating for you.
Which is why I normally like having a whole bunch of berserkers is usually more stable than having a whole bunch of mages. This peasant's done grinding. Looks like they might be.
Okay, so as long as Peasants doesn't wipe to Zemus, this is going to be Peasants' match to lose at this point, because Zilch is not quite done grinding.
Yep, it looks like he's going for Jolie 28 on his Cecil, making sure his 2 Palums have all they want on for wisdom and intelligence boosts.
Yeah, and we see here the power of Rosa, because you see Rosa's HP is at 2400 for Peasants. That is very safe. Even an unnerfed Big Bang with the highest roll possible, that Rosa will survive as long as she's healed up. Whereas the Porum and Palum are not quite that high, so they're in danger from unnerfed Big Bangs. Now, we did see Peasants lowering the battle speed, though. That's to make the timings a little easier to nerf those big bangs. So I think he's feeling pretty confident that he can get that window at battle speed 4 instead of battle speed 1.
And I mean, lower battle speeds means you just have an easier time sneaking in extra actions. And I think we have a question, though, don't we?
Yeah, I think it goes something like, whose posterior are we beating up? Is that?
I think it's whose butt are we going to kick?
Let's see those Z flags in chat for subscribers to the Free Enterprise channel.
Giant egg, yes, good guess, good guess. Do we have a lobster? Is lobster on the menu? Do we have a seafood platter?
Really, I mean, I can't deal with any much more hunger.
We may be playing more Dragon Quest VI. We don't know yet. The crystal has been thrown. And the true colors are emerging. We're playing Breath of Fire.
Wow, that's a big boy right there.
Got Silk Web out, and hey, perfect. Cecil ate the nuke. No one has to care.
Yeah, kudos to Scala Kitty, who's also our restreamer tonight, for inserting almost all of these Z sprites into the game. Always a treat to see a new one at the end of your seed. We also had some jokes in chat about Dark Knight Cecil being the one to use the crystal. You may notice in the classic game, you can't do that. It's got to be Paladin Cecil, but here, Boardface has blessed us with the ability to use the crystal with anyone. We see Peasants even pause buffering during these casts. This is kind of like a cutting edge strat because we're not really sure that it actually speeds things up or not, but we think it may. So it needs more testing maybe.
Okay, there's the Big Bang. Get these nuke casts out. We may not see another shake. Well, we'll probably see another shake. We may not see another Big Bang from Zemus.
Yeah, you saw at the beginning of the fight, Peasants used a Silk Web on Zeromus. That basically has the effect of casting multiple times the slow spell, which helps us slow Zeromus down and make sure you get your turns in. And just happen to get lucky that the counter nuke generated by that hit Dark Knight Cecil, who he didn't care if he lived or died anyway.
Get those nukes out.
Now, Wraith is about to get the pass, so maybe we'll avoid the moon baits.
Entirely depends on turning in that pan.
Yeah, Pizza is also in the tower, so we can assume Pizza is going to be getting go mode here very shortly as well.
Zemus just shook for Peasants, but I think these next couple of casts should do it.
Yeah, in case you're not aware of the mechanics of this fight, which all players have to deal with unless we're on giant percent, when Zeromus shakes, that's him resetting his spell power to use Big Bang, and if you attack him during that period in a way that causes him to counter,
I think this might be a
his
wipe.
spell power gets reset.
That has to be a real low roll. It's low enough.
Yeah, I mean, at least some twins lived, and that's what you want. That's where I said, if you mistime the nerf, then you don't get it.
That's it. Peasants has finished off Zemus and comes in first with a time of 53 minutes and 42 seconds.
Right as Zilch is actually entering the fight. GG's to Peasants. Very nice.
I believe we're going to see if he wants to come in for an interview in just a moment.
In the meantime, Zilch is going to see the final boss and start rolling those white sand nukes himself. And at this point, all of our players have go mode. So Pizza and Wraith are not going to get, Wraith especially because he has Darkness Crystal, are not going to get baited by the moon. They're going to go get their crystals, get to grinding, and we're going to see some pretty close finishes here. This is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. And I believe we're joined by Peasants. GG.
Hey, thank you. Whew, I am shaking.
What was your thought as soon as you saw that pass?
Just immediately just grind, because I got the hook, so I got 10 key items, and I was like, all right, if this is darkness, this is fantastic, and then it was pass, so it was even better. Oh.
And I mean, I know from like the second you got like your you picked up your Legend Sword, you're like, oh no.
Well, I looked at the Legend Sword because I did Earth Crystal first, which ended up being fantastic because of the characters there, like perfect for reflect strats. But it means I didn't have to go pick up the Rosa after wiping out the Golbez initially, which was very good because I didn't want to do that. But I looked at the Legend Sword and I was like, oh no, someone's definitely beat me to this. So I was pretty sure that I was on the back foot, even though I felt like ahead until Tower Key, and then I was pretty sure that I was probably clear. I don't know. That's at least how I felt. 10 key items and pass is, you can't really ask for anything better than that, really.
Like that was like perfect time for the pass to pop up too.
Yeah. That was not. I did not practice any seed like this. Almost every seed I do is a 28 out of 28 gauntlet at Leviathan, just getting absolutely destroyed in every situation. But I have never played a seed so jetty in a very long time.
Yeah, I know when you achieve go mode items, especially at some free spots very early, it can get you nervous that you don't know where everyone's going to be. But let me ask you this: how do you feel about your upcoming 3 matches now that you're going to be starting off with 4 points?
Better. I was not expecting to get a 4 here. I'm still pretty nervous about the rest of them. In particular, tomorrow's race is a group of death, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. I feel a little bit more confident, but still, you never know. Rando's got a rando. It always does.
And I'd like to butt in here for a moment. We have our second place finisher, Zilch, with a time of 57 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, so he was entering the Z fight right when you finished. So that's how close onto your butt he was.
Yeah. Did he do Earth Crystal?
I think so. Yes, actually.
Yeah. My reasoning was like, with Gold, like Rosa holding Golbez and then a Dark Knight Cecil, which I really didn't want to do ordeals. Getting Earth Crystal, even though I had the Tower Key, which I was like planning on doing. As soon as I got Earth Crystal, I was like, I need characters like so fast. and it definitely paid off with 2 really good mages. Made reflect strats very easy.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say about the seed before we continue on to our next finisher?
No, I guess probably don't expect any more jet seeds like that. I doubt there's going to be one that fast, like with like go mode that quickly again in the tournament. It would probably there'll be another one, but it's very unlikely it will happen again, I think. But it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Peasants. And Peasants did mention the match tomorrow, which happens to be the very next match in the tournament, which is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here again at the RPG Limit Break channel. That's between Baka Shinobi, Aizen Tayama, Invenerable, and Peasants. So come back to check that and see if Peasants can push this lead.
Fingers crossed. All right, thank you for having me. I'll jump out if Zilch is jumping in.
All right, thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Catch you later.
And I suppose we should see if Zilch wants to join us for an interview.
Yeah, meanwhile, while we are waiting to Zilch, we can see our other 2. Pizza is done grinding, heading to Troya, and Wraith looks to be just about done grinding based on the HP totals.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we're joined by Zilch. GG.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the sub-hour finish.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be sub-hour when you saw Legend and Adamant super early.
Zilch, how are you feeling now that you've done 2 matches and are tied for first place after all of the 2-match finishers?
Feel pretty good about where I stand. How Peasants beat me by like 4 minutes there. I'm assuming he had 10 key items, but
he did.
But yeah, pretty good about the tournament as a whole right now.
What do you think was your main strategy that contributed to this second place finish for you tonight?
I made sure to map out the shops early on, so I knew where. Once I was in go mode, so I knew where the sirens were and coffins were. Was able to just save up money and grind forever. Yeah, nice like 20-minute grind there. Always fun. Yeah, also skipping ordeals. I don't know if that would have helped or not, assuming there was a key item there. But
from what I saw from what was on ordeals, it was nothing spectacular.
I mean, even a key item would have saved time, I think. I'm not really sure. But either way, I'm still pretty happy with how the seed went.
Good. Well, anything else that you want to say about the seed before we get to watching the last 2 knockout Zeromas? Because, by the way, they're right behind you.
I think that's all I have. Thanks for commentary, restreaming, and tracking, as always. And have a good night.
GG to you. You do the same.
Thank you.
During that interview, we did have a question in chat from Supremacy about the match tomorrow. Just want to mention the 4 players that are playing tomorrow night are Baka Shinobi, Aizen Tayama, Invenerable, and Peasants. And Baka Shinobi, Invenerable, and Peasants all have first place finishes already, and Aizen Tayama has a second place finish. So when Peasants said it's the round of death tomorrow, he was not joking. While we are waiting for Wraith to head to Z and Pizza to get the flash, I will mention again, thank you to RPG Limit Break channel for hosting roughly half of the matches for this tournament. We couldn't do it without the help. You know, there's so many matches going on. The Free Enterprise channel can't host them all. So it's nice to get over here. I'd like to thank Scala Kitty, who's doing the restream tonight and is responsible for so much behind the scenes of this game. The Zeroma sprites, the Twin Harp songs. It's Paranoia for co-commentating with me. It's been a great night. And Tower Sheep for doing the tracking. those little things you see light up that let you know which player is kind of ahead and what they've gotten. It's kind of a real tough job when you're watching 4 players who are good and all doing different things.
Isn't that true? Now, well, I'd say, give me a moment. I'd say pizza is about 3 minutes out from finishing. Or maybe not even that. Gamingwithawraith, I think, is about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so, I mean, even with this jet seed level, you can see that between first and fourth, there's really only 10 to 15 minutes between them. That is incredible. Very nice play from all of our players tonight. In fact, very few wipes, very few resets, except for like exploratory resets that we would expect. And just overall, very crisp and good decision making.
I think, if I'm doing my math right, I think this white cast should probably do it. Yep, there we go. And we have official time for pizza of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 38 seconds. GG to them. We're going to see if they want to hop in for an interview here in just a moment, as gamingwithawraith is just going into their Zemus fight.
Looks like we're not going to get pizza in here, but GG to pizza again. A very strong finish.
I have to point out, we've seen very strong Z fights from all 4 of our runners tonight.
Yeah, we're seeing really nobody having any trouble, no dangerous wipes, and that's even with Peasants and Zilch going in with kind of questionable HP on their twins.
I think the most danger Peasants had was that second Big Bang. And with like both Palom surviving it and the Rosa just like face sinking, like going, what's the problem? Just meant he was in no danger either.
Yeah, so, and you know, for those who have never raced on Speedruns Live, all of our races are conducted on Speedruns Live, and everybody's recorded just for posterity and for proof checking, just in case. But the players can see when their opponents are done. So Wraith knows that the other 3 have finished. So, and you get the same amount of points for a forfeit or a 4th place finish. So I have to commend Wraith now for finishing out the Z fight, sticking strong, even though he could forfeit right now, but he's not doing that. And honestly, with as trolled as Wraith could have gotten here going to the moon, I gotta hand it to them to make it this close to the other 3, because this could have easily been a full moon clear hour and 40-minute finish.
I mean, if everyone picked up that Darkness Crystal and everyone took that siren call to the moon, we could have seen a vastly different times.
Yeah, and that's just how the luck the draw can be. Easily the difference between an hour-long seed and an almost 2-hour seed.
And I don't think Zemus is here for much longer on his side. Yep, there's the flash, and Gaming with Awraith has finished with an official time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 17 seconds. GG to Gaming with Awraith, and we'll see if he wants to come in for an interview about that seed.
While we are waiting for Wraith, oh, never mind. There he is.
GG! Congratulations on finishing the seed.
Thank you. That was a heck of a race, I guess.
It's not often you get jet seeds just quite like that one.
No.
What were your thoughts going through your head when you had that Darkness Crystal, that Legend Sword, and hunting for the Adamant?
I was like, I hope somebody goes to the moon because I'm not. And nobody did. I'm assuming anyways.
You're the only one who fought Pale Dim for that Darkness Crystal.
Oh, was I? Okay.
Yeah, the others kind of noped out of it, and we're glad because we were kind of afraid you were going to take the moon bait.
I would have if it wouldn't have been the adamant where it was, and I was about ready to, and then I lucked out. So, but yeah, that was a fun seed. Fast. I mean, great job to everyone.
Cool. And what would you say was like your main strategy during the seed, especially when you started to get go mode items?
Just keep pushing, honestly. Like, I can get myself into a little bit of a bind where I'll stop and fluster maybe for a second or two, but I was just like, nope, we're just keep going. Next place, just go next place, just go next place. Don't try to outthink myself, basically.
Cool. And when you were doing your early checks, you were kind of hunting for characters. Who were you kind of hoping for once you stalled the double twins?
Honestly, I would have took like a Foo, but I think I had enough bosses. I wasn't really counting, to be honest with you, at that point. Once I had the double Palom and Porum and then found Rosa, is like, I just need, and I knew where Cecil was, honestly. Unless I got Foo, I was just going to go with what I had, so.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that a lot of you got Cecil tonight, but no one upgraded him to Paladin.
No. I was still digging, and like I said, I just was like, okay, I'm just going to bet not Moon, so, what do you do?
All right. Any final thoughts on the seed?
That was a fun, fast seed. GG to everyone. Thank you guys for commentating, and thanks for the restream and everyone, Tracker. It was fun.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. So, any final thoughts, Motoss?
You know, after the last couple of races we've had, I was really happy and excited to see such a quick seed, and even more happy that none of the racers got baited, because it is a little heartbreaking to commentate a seed where someone's going to, like, 7 to 10 checks that aren't going to pay off. So I was happy to see that, and I was happy to see, a lot of strong play here. Like, it really shows that everybody in this tournament, there are no underdogs. There's only people who could potentially win.
All right. Well, it's Paranoia, and this has been Motoss with me. And I have to point out, our amazing restreamer again, Scala Kitty, please go give her a follow for all the work she does for Free Enterprise. And our tracker, Tower Sheep. We're going to be sending you off to a newcomer to Free Enterprise, actually. Stupid Sexy Flanders. So please, go give them a big hello. And, I don't know. What would you suggest what would you suggest is our big hello, Motoss?
17 out of 17, of course.
By which we mean give them plenty of luck. Everyone please have a good night, and we will see you for more matches tomorrow.